Down, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
we just
All right, let's
give it
run that
in.
thing, man.
Don't get mad if it just go in.
We going
That's what she
in.
said.
Apparently.
Hey.
That's terrible.
Now look, y'all.
Woo.
You already know what time it is.
But-
Check it out. You know what I'm saying? Just like double penetration, there is a such thing called a double standard, right?
Oh
And
my
that's what we're
goodness.
talking about right now. All right.
Welcome.
What hell of a
Right.
way to open
You've
up a
never
topic.
joined us before for Technically Speaking. Hello. Welcome
Hello.
to the show.
What's
Right.
up, everybody? Happy motherfucking Monday.
Yeah. that and 2 bags of chips. We got a lot going on today. We're discussing a whole lot,
man.
you know what I'm saying?
Hold on.
Everything
apparently.
from, you know what I'm saying, from like I said, double standards to job, you know, saying job losses, double entendres, all of that. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
But
I like double
in the
entendres.
aspect of everything, when is it okay to do something that was done in the past that cancel culture wasn't alive, right? We didn't start experiencing cancel culture till, let's say, the internet stage, right? Tropic Thunder, now Druski. And
You're kind of being cryptic.
I'm
Tropic
being
Thunder,
cryptic.
what?
being
Druski,
cryptic.
what?
So there's this.
I'm
thing
trying to
going
be on. I'm trying to be on. Could have been records. Is that what we're
Okay.
talking about with Druski? Can I
We
still
talking
get
about-
on?
we
Coulda
talking
Been
about
records?
Druski. All right, so here we go. So here's the thing. Y'all got me grabbing my mic. So Druski went ahead and Druski is hosting the BET Awards, another trending topic you guys should know about. And he recently did a skit with Chris Rock as him being Whiteface, so to speak, right? The people are a lot of people, especially back. This isn't the first time Druski did it, nor the second. I think this is the third or fourth, right? Because the first time he did it, he was like he was NASCAR, or whatever the case may
NASCAR,
be.
yeah.
But when what's the guy? The Logan Paul.
Jake Paul.
Logan Paul.
Yeah, Logan Paul talked about doing it, right?
Jake Paul, his brother did.
Jake Paul. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the Paul kids, right? Pauls, right? I don't know. I just know one got his jaw broken when he was fighting.
The one who got his
However-
jaw broken. He went on Theo
Yeah.
Von and he gave like a whole big discussion. You guys can check it out on Theo Von if you guys follow him at all.
Yeah. But the question is, what's good for the goose isn't always good for the gander? See or no? Right? Bobby, go ahead, take the reins on it before I mess this thing up.
Look, it's just a topic of conversation. You know, we were talking about just in the past offline, the four of us, you know, we often have different conversations inside of our chat talking about what different topics are we going to have. We want to make sure we're bringing in information, entertainment, but also staying relevant. And right now, this is something that's relevant. Druski did a I don't know what would you call it. I'm sure it was just a skit, right? It was a skit he did with Chris Rock. Chris Rock was dressed up as a cowboy. He looked mighty nice too, if I might say so. You know, he dressed up as a cowboy, just as himself. They went out to, I guess, what was supposed to be some sort of a rodeo event or something. And so Chris Rock proceeded to interview Druski. Druski was dressed as what you would probably assume a typical redneck would look like, right? So guy kind of big, what we would call like a Bubba, kind of a bigger white dude, and you know,
Bubba.
wife beater looking type of shirt on, and he's got a U.S. flag cowboy hat on, and he's talking like he don't really understand the questions, and you know, just kind of making him sound dumb. Now
He was spot on for playing a redneck. He was spot on. Spot on. I'll say it. He was spot on playing a redneck.
Okay, so
Not trying to be PC over here. I understand. But no.
I ain't
trying
trying
to be
to
PC.
listen. I ain't trying to be PC because it is what it is, and I'm not gonna try to like make anybody feel less than or step on toes, but I'm gonna keep it real because I would hope somebody would want to do that too. So I ain't trying to.
Always.
I'm not
Keep
like
it
worried
real.
I'm not worried about hurting people's feelings because
Oh, we know that.
quite frankly, I don't give a damn.
We know that,
Okay. You know, we've talked in the past. You know, Druski, even though he's funny, his skits are funny and stuff. But we've talked about what does that double standard look like.
Right.
A black guy was able to, you know, put on Whiteface and dress up like somebody of a different skin color, right? So at the end of the day, I'm sure it was comedic fun. But again, we talk about the double standard. If today a white guy went out and he decided to dress up like Chris Rock and started to talk like Chris Rock and act like Chris Rock and his mannerisms, would he be canceled according to today's cancel culture? Would he be ousted? Would people try to get him fired from his job? Would people try to get his kids taken away from him? He'd be called racist, all sorts of things, right? And so this is kind of where that double standard looks. When is it okay for this set of people to do something, but this set of people can't? Or it's okay for you to be offended, but I can't be offended. You know?
Right.
And
Yeah,
Mike,
yeah.
let me lay the cards down right now. I was not offended by Druski, but quite frankly, because I don't really care. Because none of his little comedic efforts involve me, my family, or my money. That's all I'm saying. Okay. It don't bother me. Not only that, but I'm not sitting over there on the internet talking about, oh, let me look for something to be offended by, like some dumbasses do, because they do.
Right.
Like, oh, that's right. You know what? I'm gonna be offended by this. Man, shut the hell up. Go get a job. Anyways, we'll talk about jobs a little bit later. All right.
Hey, I see what you did here.
Y'all funny.
Oh, but we're that's the topic right now. Double standards. What does it look like? Is it okay for a black guy to put to dress up in whiteface and act like old country boy doesn't understand what he's talking about versus a white guy dressing up as a black man, impersonating different mannerisms and stuff? Is what's okay and what's not okay?
Fair question, man. Fair question. What you got to speak on it, Donald?
Context, my friend. It is all about context, right? Like I am totally understanding of the culture and the culture shift on how it shifted, because just a few years ago, it was made very clear and being pointed out more about the Caucasians who were doing blackface. So morally, yes, it's wrong. But at the same time, yeah, you have the right to question when you see a black person doing the same thing. But it's out of context, right? Because Caucasians in the white culture have been using blackface way back in the day, right? But it wasn't always in a derogatory form, right? A lot of times it was in an acting form when they were taking the stage and stuff like that. So even way back in stage time when they were using black paint, it wasn't always in a racial tone, right? And so when you see like the Wayans brothers and they're doing the movie White Chicks, right? Like they're not necessarily hating and displacing on white culture themselves or white people themselves, but they're relating to culture in itself, right? And I would think that for the women, if anything, women would be upset with something like that. But with what Druski did, like he didn't.
Still one of my favorite movies.
He didn't go out there and say, "Hey, this is how they act," yada yada yada. He portrayed a satire, and that's exactly what it is. Like in our picture, if you look at the picture, right, we got what's his name, Robert Downey Jr. from Tropic Thunder, right? Like is our thumbnail, right? So. Like, I'm not disgraced at all by that role because he played a great role as a black person, right? And I think ultimately, because I'm black and I'm white, I have the opportunity of looking at it from both sides. One side is way more sensitive than the other side is, So it's all about the feelings that are being hurt, right? Like, you gotta. So that's why I say, if you're a Caucasian, if Jake Paul, because I heard his comment and he was justified in his thought process too. Any white person should be justified in that thought process, but if Jake Paul did do it, I would suggest him do a character like Druski was doing, as opposed to just putting on blackface and doing a little two-step, Aunt Jemima, like that shit with the big, like, context.
That's very belittling. That's belittling. If somebody did that and dress up just to act stupid,
Fair.
Yeah, right. Like they did that, Gleason, Jackie Gleason or something like that, was one of those old school 30s or 40s actors in the black and white days. He kind of he did it a lot.
I think the point that you made, Donald, I think this comes down to context, because when Robert Downey Jr. did it, I loved it, but it was the context, right? He was playing an Australian actor that was playing a black character. And he was living that role. Like there were even points when he was like, "What do you mean, black people?" And the actual black dude was like, "Wait a minute, what do you mean, you people?"
Right.
And like the actual like black guy in the movie, he was saying all the stuff we were thinking. I was thinking watching it. You know, so I think context matters, man. Because I loved it. That's one of my like favorite Robert Downey Jr. movies, man. Like. He killed it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it does come down to context, man. And I think you made another good point too when you said like one side might be more sensitive to than the other. And I'm gonna take a guess and think maybe the black side is more sensitive. And it's really I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it since the first time Bobby asked about that, because she asked about it the first time Druski did it, and then when he did it, like basically his version of White Chicks, right? And like, I think there's layers, there's historical precedence, right? Because I think up until Robert Downey Jr., anything before that, there was always that little hint of racism when blackface was done in Hollywood, because it's no secret that most industries in the U.S. were racist, especially Hollywood. Back in the 30s and 40s, like that you were talking about, they were doing it because they didn't want to give black actors jobs. So they would just paint their face with the black paint, and they would portray those characters, right?
Yep. Right. Minstrel. It was called the minstrel shows.
Yeah. And a lot of that was tied to Jim Crow era. So a lot of it was very malicious, and it was very tied to what was going on during the Jim Crow era, which I will always ask people to understand each other just as neighbors, right? If you understand what your fellow American went through and maybe some of their ancestors went through, maybe you would understand why some people would get heated. For example, look, Japanese Americans, Chinese Americans, right? Personally, I would never do anything that would slight them or make them feel uncomfortable because I'm familiar with their history and what they went through, right? You know, Chinese people that were brought here and used to build railroads and other things, the gold rush, you know what I'm saying? And they were they were used in a way to help build this economy. Japanese too. They were thrown in internment camps when World War II went down, right? So me personally, I just will try to have empathy and be like, hey, I understand. I can't understand what you went through if I didn't go through it, but I can empathize and be like, I'm not gonna touch that. That's just me personally. But I think when it comes to the black stuff and stuff that happened to black people, a lot of people are like, just get over it.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro. We not getting over that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of suppression that comes with that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And it is. And I think a lot of people forget that. Hold on 1 second, y'all.
Yeah, go ahead. Well, to your point, man, just until you get back on the mic, you're right. It's like there's certain things that we don't want to, we shy away from, right? Because of the fact that it could be deemed like icky. When I say icky, it's like, I don't want to be offensive, but in the same breath, it's like, you know what? I can understand your plight. Not saying I can relate, I can understand.
I can, yeah. And I think that's what gets lost too. And I think a lot of people forget it's also part of it is a generational thing. Like our parents lived it. You know what I mean? Like my mom lived it. Like our parents grew up doing the civil rights movement. Like it was new. It was brand new. When my mom was born in 1964, it was brand new for minorities to have rights. The civil law passed the year before she was born. So she grew up in that. So a lot of our parents, grandparents, they still have that pain. It's like they have those traumatic experiences, right? And we see them live through those moments, just like a veteran who may have PTSD. They live those moments and they're living that trauma. It comes back, they get triggered. And we still have that generation that is fresh on their mind so that when they see something like that, they get triggered. And I think that part gets lost, right? And I think a lot of people are like, just get over it. It's not that bad. I don't think they understand the fact that you're asking someone with PTSD to just ignore their triggers. I think that's really what it comes down to.
Well, can I ask you a question? How long does the person with PTSD pass on those triggers to their children and then their children's children and their children's 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 children?
Good point. I don't know. You need a mental health
Well, no, I can tell you.
It depends. I have to be careful and recognize what my triggers are so that I don't so that I don't cause additional trauma. It's just got to be some self-reflection that happens, and unfortunately sometimes it happens a little bit too late.
Yeah,
this is all in comedy though, man. We're talking about Druski, who's a comedian. He's doing comedy skits, man. I mean, if you can't take a break and laugh at someone because they're intentionally trying to make you laugh with something, then you might be a little bit too uptight, right? Like, I mean, if comedy ends up being the true resistance, right, and the only way that you have freedom is through comedy to express like happiness, like you're gonna put a limit on a lot of people, right? And if you take away that freedom in comedy, what other outlets do people have to go to feel some type of release or relief from the everyday stress that life puts on us, right? Like there's nothing better for me personally to have had a hard day and then go home and watch a cool comedy from like Chris Rock, where he's saying some of the most racist things I have ever heard in my life, you know, and laugh my ass off about it. And at the same time, listen to a white comedian like, you know, I can't think of any of what Taj. There you go, Taj. What's his name? He did that show Taj.0. You guys know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember Taj.0.
Yeah, right. So that guy's very, very controversial on some of his comedy as well. And so that's your flip side to it, right? And you should be able to have at least that platform to express yourself freely, right? I mean, what he did with Erica Kirk, really, that's what we should be talking about with Druski is what he did for Erica Kirk too far, because not only was he crossing the line with white in some people's eyes, but he was crossing the line on feminism, right, and sexism, right. I'm surprised the ladies aren't talking trash about him portraying a woman, right? But in that case, how many people in Hollywood are dressing up like women anyway, right? And so it's like, I don't know. Well, Hollywood is weird, man. But if you can't laugh at this shit.
No, this is all good stuff. What was you gonna say, Corey?
So Hollywood is different, right? You know what I'm saying? Because Druski ain't part of Hollywood. He's part of social media.
Good point.
Let's be. He is the social media of today that Dave Chappelle was back when Dave Chappelle.
If social media was around, yeah.
Right. And Dave Chappelle also has some skits where he was dressed up as a white person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I get what you're saying.
So,
right?
I think the main difference is I am not aware of any type of systemic anything that happened towards Caucasians that gave them any PTSD, any type of post-traumatic stress. I'm not aware of anything in the history of the U.S. that you could tie trauma to, that if they saw something like that, it would trigger them. I don't know.
Somebody
I think that's
dressing
the
up like
difference.
a white person? Yeah, you're right. That's probably why they're not blowing shit out of proportion the way the African-American culture does.
Well,
right. I mean, they're speaking about it, but they're not out there protesting and teaching their kids, hey, there's systemic racism. And then their kids teach their kids, hey, there's systemic racism. And then even though there's growth and progress, they'll never see it because a lot of Black culture teaches their kids that it's always systematic tearing down of the Black community, and you'll always have to battle and scratch and claw to make something out of yourself. And
let's not say a lot because we can only go by what we
I like to listen to Stephen A. Okay, I'm going to use Stephen A. as an example because he is a great example of an African American who speaks his mind. I say Stephen A. And there's my answer.
Okay, so Stephen A. is not a good example. Even him, that's not a good example because Stephen A. is a person who has money. Yes, he has money and he's quote unquote in a Black industry, but he's not. He's in sports.
Listen, I'm going to stop you. If we take it out of entertainment, all of the neighborhoods that I drive around every day, a lot of these neighborhoods I go to are Black neighborhoods. These are some of the nicest neighborhoods that I go to. I've taken on these new accounts in the Baldwin Hills area. When you're driving through La Brea or La Cienega to go from the South Bay to LA, and all those big houses in those hills are all owned by
up the hills.
Black people, you know. If you look at some of the nicest neighborhoods in what some people would perceive to be ghetto neighborhoods, they're all houses. There are tons of successful people of all varieties, colors, shapes, and sizes. It's about what are you going to do with the opportunities that you're given. And if you're not given the opportunities as another group of people, then you might have to struggle more, but figure it out because other people have.
So my question
and
to
there's
you
nothing
is
stopping
this.
you from doing that as well.
No, I get you, but my question to you is this: are those people the ones complaining about their scratching and surviving? No.
I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
but
know
I can
very
tell
many
you they're
people
not.
personally that are affected that way. You know, the only folks I know are you guys.
Right, but
And the
so
people in the frat, and none of y'all are affected that way. A lot of you guys have made it and have become successful, man.
true, and that's respected. But when you can't say a lot of people, when there's a demographic of a lot of people, when I'm talking, and maybe we're saying the same thing, but when you saying that black people always relating to the struggle of something that's going on, basically, I'm paraphrasing from what you're saying. That's not always the case because you just said it. You're driving in Baldwin Hills, predominantly black. Windsor Hills, predominantly black. Leimert Park, predominantly black. Cost of living over
homes,
there,
man.
and they have money. But what they also have, they have hustle. You feel what I'm saying? Those people, you know what I'm saying? We know that the deck was stacked against us, but that didn't mean we just gonna sit up there and look at the deck. We're gonna knock that shit down. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. We're not going to sit up there and just look at the situation. Yeah, we're going to complain about it amongst us. But then after the complaint, after the 45 minutes of saying the white men, this, all that, there's going to be somebody in that circle, mainly probably me, going to be like, so what we going to do about it? Because the shit ain't going to get flushed until somebody put their hand on the damn toilet and flush it. And then when we do that, then we come up with a solution. But not everybody is like that. The demographics of the people that the media,
Bobby been having some bubbling for a minute.
Sorry, Bobby. I'm sorry.
May I
go ahead?
Kindly interject, my brother. Let me interject for just a second.
She said, "My brother."
My brother. Let me interject for just a second. I love saying this, and you have to understand where I'm coming from, right? So, it's not a color issue; it's a culture issue. There's a culture that surrounds itself with, when you talk about the rap music, you may love the rap music, but the lyrics that are instituted inside of it are meant to push people into the streets. You're hustling, you're pushing that stuff on the street, you know what I mean? There's somebody's robbing and killing and ganging and stuff, and this is meant to look cool. They're not talking about, hey, are you putting in the work on that 9 to 5? And the only reason why I say that, I know we've talked about this before, but I grew up right on the east side of San Antonio in a predominantly Black and Hispanic culture. And so sometimes my sister told me the other day, she's like, your ghetto's coming out. I said, my bad. I was pissed. I was pissed. She's like, your ghetto's coming out. I said, man, these hands started talking before my mouth does sometimes. And I was like, I got to be careful. Anyways.
Is that what the clap?
You
start clapping.
Look. I keep it. Look, I try to keep it. I try to keep it low key.
Keep doing it now. Look.
I try to keep it low key. Okay, I do my best. It's not a color thing. It is a culture thing. And the only reason why I say it's a culture thing because the culture extends outside of the Black community and it goes into Hispanic and white communities too. And so one of the biggest things that I saw, and when I was in middle school, I was like maybe 1% demographic. In an all-Black middle school that I went to, one of the biggest things that I saw was that other Black people were making fun of other Black people because they were smart and they were trying to do the right thing and get the good grades. It's like, oh, you just want to be white. Oh, you just want to be like the white man. I was like, what the hell? Does that have anything to do with this kid's smart? Like, let him be smart. But then he was being belittled and put down because they were smart. And I feel like it just kind of came back to culture. It had nothing to do with the skin color, but cutting each other down for wanting to be better and do something better ain't a bad thing.
I think you're onto something, but I think I'll add to that. Yeah, it's culture, but it's the trauma that lives in that culture. Because if you really peel back the onion, at the root of it all is just trauma. That's just trauma being manifested on what you just said, right? Light skin versus dark skin, blah blah blah. That's just generations of trauma, man. Yeah. And I think that goes back because the question is there a double standard, right? I would say no. And because no one ever gave me an answer on has there ever been anything traumatic in history against
I meant
the
to say yes.
Caucasian community, right? I can't think of any.
It's not talked about in history books. Only black slaves are talked about. We don't
Yeah,
talk
I can't
about
tell
black.
you,
We don't
man. I
talk
mean,
about black slave owners. We don't talk about the people who even owned slaves were only rich people. They weren't your typical
yeah,
people who
and
were farming. They didn't own slaves. It
yeah,
was
and there's
rich.
a
It
group
was
of white
rich white
people out
people.
there.
There were Irish people that were brought here too,
Thank you. There it
who
is,
were
man.
immigrants.
But let me
And
ask you this though:
See, the white
where
culture
that
is so vast, but they all consider themselves one group of people. But each of those, a lot of the white race is so many different ethnic cultures. You know, and you just combine them into one because they're white. I
now
wish I could give you some
let's
examples,
compare.
man.
That's
I
what I'm
have some
saying.
examples
Give
of
me
a
some
civil
examples
war
because
where brother was killing brother in order to free the slaves. And so you got a lot of white people who went out on a limb and risked their lives and gave their lives up multiple times to try and help the black community become free and have
and
somewhat of
respect for
that.
that.
But I
Respect
wish
for that.
that, yeah, Bobby, you kind of make a good point, right? I don't ever remember being taught anything negative about the white culture either growing
Or
up. You know,
anything
like,
that was systemic against Caucasian or white culture, or whatever you want to call it. But
well,
in
I
the
guess this is
histories, to be fair, one clarification: the history books don't just talk about black slaves. I brought
it's a
up the
class thing too.
Japanese experience, the
Yeah.
Chinese experience. There
The
are several,
Irish,
the Jewish experience, right? There are several different ethnic groups we learn about in history, right?
Native
well, not
Americans.
all of them, but
Native American. There are several, like there's plenty of literature out there that will educate you on the systemic trauma that was done on different ethnic groups, not just black people, right? But there are layers of like we talked about the history of blackface and how it was tied to Jim Crow. I don't know of any such scenario that was like that for the white community, right? To where someone from a previous generation that still has that trauma from what they went through, that passed it on to the younger generation. Because I could say, when I see something like that, like a blackface, it's gonna rub me the wrong way initially. Like even when Robert Downey Jr., I was like, oh, what's this? I was uneasy about it. And then when I got into it, I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, but where's that coming from? Like I personally didn't have any dealings or you know with blackface. I wasn't around back then, right? But my parents and grandparents were. So I would say some of that trauma.
Did they watch Tropic Thunder?
Say what?
Did they watch Tropic Thunder?
I have no idea. I'm
just curious. I'm like, girl, let me show you a clip of this. You tell me what you think about this.
Any baby boomer any black baby boomer watching this, chime in, let me know. Did Tropic Thunder trigger you? Because that's really the question. Because I think the baby boomers and above, those are the black folks that really went through it. Like we've been through some stuff before, but what I've been through and experienced on a racism level is nothing near what the baby boomers and older generations went through. They lived that life. So I completely understand why.
It's different for white people though, because they have two different levels too, man, right? Like if you look at the lower class and lower income whites versus the mid and higher income whites shit all over low income whites all the time, man. They call them white trash, trailer trash, this and that, right? So, and I'm not saying that that's equivalent to any other culture, but like there are just as many people in poor white neighborhoods that have no chance to get out, no hope either. And I'm not saying that they've been hated on, because nobody's going to come to America and hate on a white person, right? This is a white country. But ultimately, all white people aren't the same here in America. There are tons of white people who get looked down on and shit on and spit on by the white man, just like every other culture does, because race is race, but it's ultimately class. There are just as many high class black folks that will shit on a low class black in a minute, just like white folks. And I'm sure, I don't know any Hispanics, but I'm pretty sure class works the same there as well. You know, if you're a shitty plumber,
and
they're going to shit on you when they're at the cocktail parties talking about you.
There's been stuff that's been perpetrated in mainstream media too. That's another difference too, and that's the thing that I'm asking, to where has there been anything in mainstream media that was purposely malicious against the white community? But what type of trauma is that tied to? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I thought it was all funny. So I didn't see any trauma either way.
Who blew that movie up and made that movie a success?
White chicks.
It was
White people.
Yeah. And they soundtrack, making my ways downtown, talking down.
And they've been asking them to do the sequel. They talking about doing the sequel. But in my personal, like, I'm not invalidating anything what you're talking about, but I don't think there's anything tied to the history of traumatic experiences that has been perpetrated in mass media.
It's not the same.
I think Donald really hit the nail on the head though when it came to the class, because there's no other perfect example than what he just said. There's, we know that in the elite class, there's plenty of Black people in the elite class that will shit all over a lower income person.
I dig that, but the question is there a double standard versus whiteface and blackface? So I think that's a different
I guess from your point of view, no, there's no double standard, because nobody will ever be able to discredit the white culture in America. But that's because America is a white. And so why would they disparage themselves in any way? And if you really look at the media, and you're talking about the media is not all Caucasian. The media is Jewish. So if you really want to look at Hollywood, you're looking at the wrong group of people. You're looking and trying to classify white Christians.
Those are his own views. That is not the views of technically speaking. Let me disclaim.
Oh, they're not? Oh, okay. I was like, go Donald.
Not the views of technically speaking.
No, that's my views. That's the Millennial Nation worldwide.
There you go.
Millennial Nation worldwide to hear more.
Technically speaking.
Donald be speaking them facts.
But that's who runs Hollywood, in my opinion, right? So I believe personally, you're blaming the wrong group of people if you're talking about Hollywood, because the Hebrew people don't consider themselves white. They consider themselves Jewish. And that's what distinctly separates them from white culture.
I can't tell.
Well, you just got to study their culture, man. Read the Bible.
So let's go back to what the double. Let's go back to what the original question.
I think we veered off course a lot. Yeah.
It's okay.
What about the guy who wears white
versus whiteface? Because
what about the guy who wears black paint at the party? Because that's what it really is. That's what we should be talking about. It's the person who goes to a party wearing blackface. The office party where people are coming in and wearing blackface is where I think people should take offense, as opposed to someone
not tasteful at all
doing a comedy skit, right? Like,
right.
To be honest, I feel like we're a couple of generations away, because I think us, the Zennials, we're that in between generation to where we saw the pain and suffering of the baby boomers the Gen X and above. Gen X felt some of that too. Mostly baby boomers, I think.
The silent keepers.
The silent generation, yeah, and the great generation. They lived it. The Black people from those generations lived all of that. Yeah. The Zennials, I think we were coming out to where, okay, civil rights was now about 20 years had been around, right? So people were like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't just kill Black people for no reason. You know what I mean? Like it was starting to become a thing, right? It's cool not to kill Black people anymore just for no reason, right? Yeah. We're that generation, the Zennials. But I think that since we're so close to that trauma, we understand and we feel it, and there will be some kind of outrage if someone like a Jake Paul did do blackface, he gonna hear some words, right? But it's because of we're not that far removed from that. But I think maybe a couple of generations from here, maybe times will be better. Maybe some of the systemic racism will be rooted out even more, because we're not there yet. It's still here. Like, we're not that far away from redlining. You know what I mean?
With the whole double standard thing, like let's say like with Druski's skit that he did with Chris Rock, right? So he came out talking and acting and dressing and looking like a Bubba, right? So he did that. What if Jake Paul came out and said, "Hey man, I know that you're trying to be funny, but I find that a little bit offensive." What would the Black community do? Tell them to sit down and shut the F up?
I don't think so. I think a lot of people would be.
Do.
I think a lot of people would say, help us understand why that is offensive.
Right.
No, a lot of the Black comedians that go for it, it's all about context. I watched the videos,
the Black comedians, but the Black comedians,
because it's a comedy thing, right? Yeah, he's not getting out there and disrespecting the Black culture, man.
Well, see,
he's just acting like a Black person.
Community, not comedians. So it's different. The Black community will feel a certain type of way. The Black comedians will be like, go for it. Because Cheryl Underwood, she was on the Breakfast Club and she was talking about the roast that happened with Kevin Hart.
I saw that.
When old boy was talking about her husband killing himself.
Hey, right? she gave him the okay though.
Well, no, she told him she gave him okay, but she told him like, you better make it funny, because if not,
he did, didn't he?
But
did y'all watch it?
No, I didn't watch
I watched it. I watched it. I think a better
good.
example was the one white comedian that made the joke about.
Let me finish.
The hanging joke, the lynching joke.
Let me finish this point though. The point is comedic and community. Totally different people, right? Comedy, there's a set rule of and an honor amongst a code amongst comedy and comedic people. You can do that. Let's say Druski. He's not Hollywood, but he's a comedian. There's a code he feels that he can do. Everybody was on, and he was not like Whiteface, Blackface, churches, old school.
Yeah, he's hitting them all. He's hitting them all.
Everybody. You feel what I'm saying?
He's hitting every culture. Yeah,
and the comedian,
any culture could get it.
Yeah, the comedian loved it.
Real quick, I'll tell you this though. I'll tell you this. I bet you he'll never do anything like that towards the Jewish community. I guaranteed he would never do that.
Bro, I doubt.
Yeah.
I doubt. I think you're wrong because he just did something.
Druski, do it.
If he does do it, they'll cancel him. He will get canceled so quick.
They're too powerful.
Well,
he'll get canceled, man.
Unless he got unwritten approval. But think about what he did with
we're gonna be called anti-Semites just by talking about this right now, man. Like we're being anti-Semitic right now just by even mentioning the Jewish culture, man.
I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm anti-Zionist. There's a difference.
Yeah, I heard about Zionism, but now we're going way too far.
All right, back to the
I think at the end of the day, it would be hard to justify why it's offensive because there's no trauma tied. There's no historical systemic trauma tied to it. I think that's the biggest difference.
Oh, sure. England taxed them for their tea, bro. That was devastating for them.
Oh, yeah? The black people didn't do it, though. That was Europe. That was England. That's the king.
More white on white. Yep. More white on white.
Mayonnaise on mayonnaise, man.
Mayonnaise on mayonnaise.
Oh, no. But you said something, Bobby. I'm trying to remember what it was. You said something earlier. You asked a question. Dang it. I forgot what the point. So it just. I think
you know
it's just
what?
What's up?
I know what it is. I had told you. I had told you that I don't want to be that person and be like, do your research, but look it up. The whole idea of being black and white is nothing but a divisive way of color coding people when truly every single person living today is just a different shade of brown. Some are lighter brown, some are darker brown. That's it.
100%. I mean,
we're all different shades of brown.
I think it's really just an American. You said culture, right? To really, and when it came to the U.S.,
they're divisive words. They're used to the divide.
Well, yeah, 100%, and that's what established the class. That's what established the classes. If you really want to get to the root of the tutor of it, right? Because when originally in the U.S., to y'all points, the Irish and the different type of white people that were just grouped together, they were separated in different races back then on paper. To your point, but I think you had said something, Bobby, and I was like, dang it, that I wanted to touch on that. You had just said it earlier, man, but I think I missed it. Damn it, you said it was good, and I wanted to touch on that, but we veered off course a little bit. Trying to remember what it was you said.
Something about slavery.
No, I already talked about that. Dang it. I lost it.
Hard for me to accept the premise that there hasn't been growth because being half black and half white, I'm kind of proof of the growth in itself, you know. And
what you talking
it's kind of hard for me because, like, you know, being half black and half white, you can kind of see how I'm torn on this whole entire conversation in itself because I got one half that views it a certain way and another half that views it a different way, and I'm stuck in the middle, having to choose a side. Which side do I believe in? Which side am I going to follow, man? And it's difficult.
Think you have to choose a side. I honestly think it's just
you could be
for me in this situation because I feel like I do. If I say something negative towards the black community,
I don't think
the black community is going to tear me down. You guys already did it tonight. If I said something negative about the white community, then I'm talking about my mom, and you know it's not necessarily the same because my mom's not the way other cultures perceive white people, you know, and so it's really hard to just accept a lot of the things that I know a lot of other Africans accept, man. I kind of wish sometimes I was on one side or the other completely because then I could fully understand and accept, you know, but
Well, you know, there's even so many cultures.
Geronimo said something, bro, because you said something. We got to correct that. Go ahead, Geronimo.
What was it?
You said Africans.
Yeah, because you said Africans would say, because even Africans don't like African
Oh,
Americans.
Black Americans. Yeah, I'm sorry, Black
Black
Americans.
Americans. Yeah, that's a whole different discussion. But
very different.
No, because
I needed to be.
You said it's about choosing a side. I don't think it's about choosing a side. I like this discussion because I think what it does is try to bring up some understanding. Like it's understanding your neighbor's pain, right? Like let's pretend this was something that had to deal with a sexual assault issue, right? There are plenty of women out there that have had to deal with sexual assault. Maybe someone did a comedy skit about that. Do you ask those women that have trauma from sexual assault to just brush it off? It's just the comedic nature. No. I don't think you can. There's still trauma that they have to deal with, and maybe they're triggered, right? And I don't think a lot of people understand that when you're telling Black people to just, it's just funny. You're asking us to do the same thing. We would be asking a woman that's been a victim of sexual assault to just gloss it over because it's comedic. And I don't think a lot of people make that connection. Like, that's essentially what you're doing. Anytime you're like, it's not that bad, get over it. It's just funny. It's in the comedic sense. But no, that's real pain. That's real trauma. Just like that woman that has to still deal with and try to heal from her wounds and trauma from being sexually assaulted. That there's no difference. And I think it's really just to try to hear each other out and understand each other's pain. And hey, if you know this is something that triggers someone, maybe don't do it. You know what I mean? I think that's really what it comes down to.
Comedians aren't going to ask their audience, hey guys, if you're triggered by this and this and this, you need to leave. You need to leave because I'm about to set off all your triggers.
But I think that's different. But because as far as I know, the blackface thing hasn't been done since Robert Downey Jr., at least not in a highly accepted platform.
Well,
but
that's
I think
because
it's because of the obvious reasons.
Well, what are those obvious reasons?
The whole systemic trauma, the historic
it's more
value,
than that too.
Jim Crow, all of that.
Ultimately, it's also the liberalism also has exposed the most light and has backed the Black community the most in calling out the white community when they've done blackface. That now not only do they not do it in Hollywood, but people aren't even allowed to do it at parties anymore. So even though it's not a law for white people to do blackface, it's a moral law and an ethical law that you will get torn down as a white person if you ever do blackface. And that started about 4 or 5 years ago. And I think, I don't know if that's when Tropic Thunder happened, but I remember a lot of the movements that were happening around blackface was because normal people in society were having pictures exposed of them doing blackface in some way or another. And it was a hot button and they rode the wave. And so, yeah, you don't have to worry, Geronimo. You will never see a white person doing blackface ever again, bro, because it's morally and ethically wrong in the white community now. So, you know. Just say.
But what I don't want to get missed is the pain, right? Like I like that journey you just took, but again, I feel like that brushes off the real pain and trauma that was done to a lot of people, generations, right?
But like you said, hopefully it will not be like that in future generations, because we got to stop it at some point and stop stoking it.
Agree, but again, I don't think you could put a time limit on it. Just like I don't think you would ask a female that's been a victim of sexual assault to put a time acceptance on when she needs to heal from that.
You could for some though, right? I think maybe you're right. It's an individual thing.
I don't
but
know
it's
about
an acceptance
that,
thing.
I don't know about that. Like
you can't tell somebody to get over
myself out
being
there.
assaulted.
I'll put myself out there. I was molested as a child, right? And it took me a long time to accept that and even say that, right? And saying it after I was able to say it and accept it, it was a freeing thing, right? So being able to have that out there in the open and letting people know that I suffer too, it kind of brings a certain level of peace. And some people do obtain that more than others. But if you are a person who can never let go, and more importantly, you're teaching other people and instilling in future generations to never let go, then they will never be able to fully grow. Because just like a Japanese person who will never forgive what happened to them when they were placed in internment camps, right? Like if they continue to teach their children white America is against you, and then they would probably stifle themselves, right? And I have a group of Japanese friends, and a lot of them haven't been hindered. They don't hold America and blame America for what happened to their parents and their grandparents. They've moved on. Maybe it's because they got paid, though. Maybe if you got reparations,
they did get
it would
paid.
be
They
different.
did get reparations. But
even if you got money, it wouldn't change what happened. You would just have money.
I will say this: the teaspoon of sugar that helps the medicine go down. That's all I'm saying.
Get
Mary
it?
Poppins taught me that. But let me ask you this though. Even and I'm sorry that happened to you, man. I gotta mention that. And thanks.
It happens to 1 out of 4 people. I'm not alone.
So, but I would also ask, didn't you have to heal on your own time though? Couldn't no one put a time stamp on? Hey, you need to heal by August 31st, 2028. You know what I mean?
I didn't have like close people to resort to. The only person I had was my mom. So if I had a dad, I probably would have had more confidence in going to my dad and tell my dad what happened. But because I had watched my mom get punched in the nose and have her nose broken by a man when I went and told her that a white guy called me the N-word, and she went to defend me when I told her that a guy called me the N-word and he punched her in the nose, that I decided that I wasn't going to bring any more drama to my mama. And so I kept that one on my own. And it wasn't, the sad thing is it kind of troubled me a little bit too, because a lot of high school, I grew up wondering like, man, I was molested. Am I homosexual? Right. It made me have those thoughts in high school. Right. And even in my 20s, but like when I thought about it, I'm like, am I attracted to men? No, I'm not attracted to men, and I think that was at the point where I was able to like talk about it, because there was no embarrassment and there was like acceptance. Like, you know what, this happened. I got accepted, and the first person I told was my mom.
But you still had
I probably should have told her earlier,
right? No one could dictate the amount of time it was going to take you to heal.
But it's about who was close. If I had someone who had gone through it and was like my parent, or I could go on that. Or if it happened to my parent and I understood it, I could learn it. I could teach it to my kid, and my kid could teach it to their kid. But at some point, I would hope that my grandchildren wouldn't be afraid the way I was, or the way my mom would have been. And thinking, I'm afraid to go to the bathroom on my own because I might be attacked or something.
But I still think even if you had additional people that you could go to, I still think you would still heal in your own time. I don't think you could put, a time limit on it. And then also too, if you compound that by hundreds of years of that conditioning, it's gonna take some time to stop. Like maybe, and that's why I pointed out the generational impact of it too, because it is generational. Like I don't think the millennials or Gen Zs get as offended as, say, us, the Zennials, and before, right? I think there is a generational tag to it too, right? Because again, obviously, as a Zennial black man, I didn't go through what a baby boomer went through, or the greater generation, or the silent generation. Not even Gen X. I wasn't around back then, but I can only imagine the pain that they still have because of what they went through. I went through some of it. I've been harassed by cops, and I was doing the right thing. At everybody's point of, we know the chips are stacked against us. So what are you going to do? I joined the military. I got my bachelor's degree. I got my master's degree. I got all these cybersecurity certifications. I work in cybersecurity. I got my top secret clearance, and I still got harassed by the cops. And that's the type of trauma that lives with you, that when you see a black face like that, understanding what your parents and grandparents went through, it's going to trigger some pain. I don't know that when, let's say, Druski does that there's systemic stuff there that's going to trigger a white person like that. I don't know if there's cops that will harass a white person when they pull them over, right? I don't know that. That's not my experience.
Can I play Angel's Advocate on this?
Plays Angel's Advocate.
You don't know because you're not white.
And that's why I'm asking. That's why
I can tell you, when Druski did the redneck, if I were from the South, I would have been a little offended. But it was only because of how spot on he was, right? Like from the tan lines to the overalls, like spitting. He nailed it for satire, man. He was on point, man. If you wanted to Google what a redneck is.
I love Robert Downey Jr. when he did his. So
listen, not everybody's like that. Even in the United States, there's cultures within the United States. Like if you come and hang out with like some white people here in San Antonio, you're not gonna really see people like that. And we're in the South, but it's not like that and stuff. But you kind of try to represent what I think people from the North think that people from the South are like, and that ain't true.
Who, Druski?
Yeah, because it kind of took out like an entire piece of the population, made it seem like everybody from the South, and the way he was looking with his messed up beard and his U.S. cowboy hat on, all stupid looking and stuff, and
Now,
it's
if we're
like,
talking about the
bear.
and the
Druski
guy,
commercial,
you know what I
remember
mean?
with
Hey,
Like,
Chris
to
Rock.
be fair, Texas is not the deep South. I done been in the deep South
Oh, yeah.
where you see some of that. I'm
I'm
gonna
not saying
keep.
it's not there, man. I've been to Alabama, Mississippi, and
That's and
Louisiana,
I
and
was
Georgia
thinking
too, man.
Alabama and
I've been
Mississippi too.
all through the South. I seen some stuff. I'm like, hey, no, you're the reason why.
And I'll
You're the
ask
reason why we all
again,
get a bad rap.
educate the show, educate us, like anyone out there that may have gotten offended, educate us why. Why did you get offended? If you did get offended when you saw Druski do what he did, why did that offend you? Just to learn, because I don't like Corey said, I'm not white, so I don't know that experience, so I don't understand why a white person would get offended. I am black, so I do understand why someone would get offended by blackface, and that's really is listen and exchange, man. Let's teach each other, because if we can understand each other's pain, I feel like we can help each other heal from it. You know what I mean? That was my overall point.
And possibly get a new job, right? You never know.
And possibly get a new job. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I was gonna go do something that was gonna mess up the flow of that. Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Oh man, I was about to say,
I ain't sorry.
I was gonna throw the race all in that one.
No, let's get into the next topic on the episode.
Change it let's just race to the topic instead. Let's do that.
I see what you did there. Hey, but that's a good discussion, though, man. I like that. I like having these. What did you call it? Icky discussions, because I think we need to have more of these. Just to help understand each other, man.
One love. Right?
There you go. I like that. Hey, one thing about music, when it hits, you feel no pain. Come on now. What you got? Well, okay, so we racing to the topic, man. Again, Bobby, you the one that's coming up with all these good topics.
Good discussions, Bobby.
Come on, Bobby.
Man, I ain't taking no credit. This is a group project. Okay, it's a group. It ain't me, so I ain't about to do that. I'm not about to do that. No, but listen, one of our very own, they did have a sudden job loss, and one day while he and I were talking at his daughter's party, I said, hey, you know what? We ought to do a segment talking about bills don't stop. Bills don't stop, because you know what? If life is going great and you've got a good job, and all of a sudden one day, bam, something hits you, the hammer comes down, they say, hey, I'm sorry, we gotta let you go. What do you do? Because bills aren't gonna be like, oh no, it's okay, I'll wait till you get that next job. That's not how life works. This is not how life works. So what do we do whenever there's a sudden job loss?
So I am that guy that she speaks of. So
what did you do?
Well, first I was like, oh shit, is this real? And I my first time since separating from the military, I found myself unemployed. And I've heard the stories from other veterans on what they went through, but nah, man, first it was that shock. It was that shock that hit me. It hit for real. Like, I'm just thinking about, I got this bill, I got that bill, I got this one, I got this, the bills, they don't stop. So the first thing was, okay, how do I stop the bleeding? Basically, it's like you in the field, right? What can I keep? What do I need to cut off? Like, I literally wrote down a whole list of stuff that's like, okay, what's stuff that I don't need? Canceled all of it. One thing I learned during this experience was credit cards, some of them, they actually have financial hardship programs. So like when I was on top, like you said, jobs was good, got the platinum cards and all of that stuff. Not easy to maintain when you lose that job, but those companies, they have financial hardship programs. So I mean, that's like one of the first things I did was I applied for the financial hardship program, and what they'll do is they'll lower your interest rate. The interest rate went from like 19% to like 8.99%. That makes a huge difference. Of course, huge difference. And for anyone that may be going through that, or if you go through that, because sometimes you'll be like, oh man, this won't ever happen to me. Well, shit, it happened to me. So that makes a big difference, man. And basically there's a set payment that you have to pay, but they're gonna charge you up front. And when they was like, yeah, we're gonna charge you up front, I'm like, dude, I just told you I lost this job. Luckily, I had some money in the reserves, right? And no, they take a monthly payment, automatic payment for the next year. And it's at 8.99% versus the 19% that's normally on the platinum card. You know what I mean? Like, I would definitely urge you to any of your billers out there, call and ask them for any financial hardship programs they may have so you can apply for them. Not all of them have it. USAA had no love. They was like, I went to USAA and was like, hey man, this is a situation, lost my job, trying to see if you guys have anything that could help. And they was like, nope, we can't do anything until you go past due. It's like, what? So you want me to take the hit first and then you'll help me? Versus American Express, once you let them know what's going on, they will lower your interest rate and put you on a set payment plan to help you until you get that next job. That's one thing I did. Go apply for that unemployment. Something I learned with unemployment, if you've been self-employed, you don't qualify for unemployment. Didn't know that.
You better keep yourself employed.
Hey, you know what? Something informational too that I didn't know when I had gotten deployed is the same thing too. You're able to call some of your creditors. I ended up calling the Apple Card because the Synchrony Bank that has the Apple Card. I ended up calling them and letting them know I sent them a copy of my Title 10 order showing I was on active duty, like presidential status, where he has to like sign off on my orders and everything. And they ended up lowering my interest rate. It was like a 12.8 all the way down to a 4%. Because I was on Title 10 order. So if you don't know and you end up getting deployed, having to leave either reserve status, guard status, or active duty status to go onto Title 10 orders. And so you can let some of your creditors and billers know, hey, this is exactly what happened. And most people will and should work with you. The same thing with your mortgage company. So if you were in November when they had the government shutdown and stuff, a couple of our very close-knit group friends that are government workers, they ended up being, qualifying to get their like 2 mortgage payments pushed ahead. So basically they tack them on to the end of the loan. You'll still owe, but you won't owe immediately. You also won't be, left behind. So it's just something to know and to do.
Yeah,
that's helpful.
Definitely. And shout out to Embrace Change on IG. She said that she paid insurance on credit cards for involuntary job loss. So that's a hack. You feel what I'm saying?
I didn't.
That's a hell of a hack. Who was that?
Yeah, my homegirl Demi. She's her nonprofit is called Embrace Change. Hopefully, I'll get her on this show. You know what I'm saying? Demi, stop playing. Come to the community. Stop playing.
Hey, I love that. Hey, thanks for that. So no, that's one thing. So anyone that is an entrepreneur, self-employed, 1099. Again, I did not. I mean, it makes sense hindsight 2020 because you're not paying into it, right? Because unemployment is something that the employers, they actually pay into that unemployed insurance, right?
Well, there's LLCs and certain things that you can sign up for with labor unions. That's the purpose of most unions when it comes to labor jobs.
Yeah. If you're in that type of industry in that field, I wasn't at the time. So but look into that. Yeah,
because I have insurance. Like I'm insured and covered, right? Like
for unemployment.
Unemployment? Oh no.
That I'm talking unemployment.
You gotta be a W-2 for that shit, man.
So because again, the topic was, what do you do when you find yourself, with a job loss, but the bills don't stop, right? I'm just sharing
side hustles, man. Side hustles and fucking fallback jobs, bro. Even every time I've lost my job and had the opportunity to get on unemployment, I'm not one of those guys that wanted to get on unemployment. Right now, I didn't have extreme responsibilities that required me to file for unemployment. I was just a guy who's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go flip pizzas, right? And then get a job flipping pizzas for a little while and shit, right? Like, I sometimes wish I would have taken advantage of unemployment, but at the same time, like, doesn't that come out of like your money at the end of your retirement also and stuff like that? How does that work? Can you explain it?
That's what I was explaining. The employers actually pay into unemployment insurance. The companies pay for that. But
so it's not all W-2 workers have that.
It's just W-2 workers. W-2 workers have it because the companies pay for that.
Pays for it.
Okay.
The companies pay for it.
If you go get a job and work there for 3 months and get fired, just get hired to get fired, you can collect that unemployment. And they may kick you back from
I got a buddy. He was on unemployment. He rode that motherfucker for a long time.
1 year.
He was unemployed for like a year and a half. He could have got a job if he wanted to.
Hold on first. I want to know what type of unemployment you're talking about, because here in Texas they only give you a portion of what you make.
Yeah, you
And
get
so,
I don't know how that works.
You just get a portion.
So
my buddy said he was on that shit for over a year.
Real quick. I want to get this point out for the 1099ers out there, that the entrepreneurs and the hustlers. If you know you don't have the company that's paying in the unemployment insurance, put extra money to the side. Luckily, I did have money to the side that's been helping me out. But if you don't put extra money to the side, because when you're a 1099, you got to pay your own taxes. So typically, you got to do 20 to 30% aside just for taxes, your own taxes, and self-employment taxes a bitch. But then I would also say maybe at least 10% aside, because if let's say you things run dry, you won't be able to apply for unemployment. And then for someone like me, I transitioned from a 1099 to a W-2 at the end of the year. So it just so happens when I went to apply for unemployment, I didn't have enough quarters as a W-2 to qualify. So that's something else to be aware of too. Like, let's just say you transition from being a 1099 to a W-2. You got to understand how your state laws work and know like what quarters, how many quarters you have to have as a W-2 to qualify for unemployment. So that stuff I knew you could use, you feel me? Like that's because I didn't know that, because they came back was like, nope, come back next quarter and you might qualify. So I'm like, ew, if you're trying to make plans, you know, with unemployment, but you were self-employed for part of the year, you might need to rethink that, man. You need to go out there and hustle like Donald was talking about.
No, for real.
There's a Financial Peace University, Dave Ramsey. I would suggest that to everybody. His first step is you need $1,000 in the bank for emergency funds in case any emergency happens, no matter what, period. You need at least $1,000 in the bank, because an emergency can happen out of anywhere, you know, and you need to have the cash available.
Nah, for real.
Cash is better because it's no interest on cash.
Right.
Yeah. Hey.
So $1,000 in the bank, and then 6 months worth of living
6 months worth of
That's what I was about to say. I'm boring. I listen to Dave Ramsey all the time. My husband's like, what did Dave Ramsey tell you today?
He changed my life, man.
Let me talk to you about the snowball method. Let me show you what we're going to do. We're about to pay off debt. He's like, man, you and paying off debt. My husband and I are very different. I'm a saver.
Never have a credit
He's
card,
a spender.
man.
He's over here like, I swear, if I see Jesus coming back, I'm going to be pissed that you got, man, boy, be quiet. Yeah, like you're about to go get a mansion in heaven, over here wondering about what we got going on in the bank account. Boy, get out of here.
It just depends on your personality type, right? Because I've done the Dave Ramsey's, I've done the Robert Kiyosaki programs and stuff like that. Different ends of the spectrum, right? Because some will say save for the rainy day. Some will say have multiple streams of income for the rainy day. It depends on you.
Both.
If you can. Not everyone is built to go get multiple streams of income. So those people might need to be the savers, and vice versa. Some people are not the best savers, so maybe they need to have multiple streams of income. Like there's not a one size fits all. That's been my journey that's showing me is know who you are, now know how you're built and move accordingly. If you're that type that can have multiple streams of income set up and you lose one, no biggie, because you already got other streams of income that can backfill that. But if you're not that type, then you need to stack your paper like Bobby does and just be born and stack it up.
Let me go ahead and say this.
Don't come after me
for the hustle.
You said you were born.
I do stack my paper because I'm afraid, because I grew up poor. I didn't have anything growing up.
Okay.
I didn't. And I don't.
And that spins it back to what we were talking about earlier, like
the trauma,
traumatic experience.
The trauma. Yep. That
Yeah,
goes back to that
I didn't have
historical
clothes,
trauma.
I didn't have shoes, and now my kids got way too damn many clothes and shoes. But that's because I didn't have that, and I knew what that felt like, and I didn't want them to feel like little Bobby felt. You know what I mean? We ain't about to go there because that's gonna make me sad.
So to your point, right? So real quick, Corey, let me get this off because it ties in with her. So this was like a little a mini instance of trauma. Like I'm moving. I just got a job. Just started today. Got a new job. You know what I'm saying? You got to get a where we at? Come on now. There we go.
Dang.
Yeah.
No, but I'm moving way differently now because now I'm like, okay, hey, anybody can get touched. This ain't guaranteed. So
nothing guaranteed, bro.
Nah.
Death is guaranteed.
Well,
what?
yeah.
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah.
We're gonna die.
And
But
taxes.
you know what I'm saying?
But I'm moving differently now.
Right.
I got a whole day. I'm saving way more money this type around. I am a W-2, so at least I know if shit hits the fan again, I can't qualify for unemployment.
There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
What was you gonna say, Corey?
But I was gonna say, also know your money laws, right? You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be independent, you know, like if you own a business like an LLC, and if you're making a certain amount of money, know the taxes, right? As a LLC, you know that if you're an employee, right, making under $60,000 keep you safe because of the fact that there's tax laws, right? Number two, if you doing side hustles, don't go and start an LLC because of the fact that the side hustle, you can still not register, but you can still count that income as income made, but it's like self-employed. Like we were talking about, like you can do a freelance, right? That money can be able to be counted off as a loss, depending on I'm not a loss, but counted as income, gross income. It won't count towards the W-2. So you won't get counted like we were talking about. You won't be able to get unemployment off of it. But there is a lot more ways than getting a source of income than the normal traditional way, right?
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? We've always been the ones that be like, you know what? Go get a trade. Let's go into college be like a secondary right now, right? Because we all know that going to college 4 years to go into debt to learn something that about time you get out of college is going to be outdated, especially in the time of AI. You know what I'm saying?
Depends on what you're going for.
Yeah. Because if you're a doctor, you cutting on me, you better have a degree. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to you if you ain't got
going in the law.
Yeah.
Like or you're going in any type of science. Because I don't want to just undersell college. It still has its benefits and value in some cases. Actually, you know what? That's in my thing. I had to market myself in the job industry. My master's degree, my bachelor's degree, my associate's degree helped me. You know what I mean? Like they still use that as a gate check, right? Like no pass. Some industries are just built that way. Like if I didn't have my degrees, I probably wouldn't have got some of the offers that I got. So I just got to throw that out there. It depends on the industry.
Totally understand that. But the thing about it is, until you get that job. Because I hear it all the time, and I even see it on social media. People saying that they're working. I mean, they're applying for jobs. They've applied 100 times. It's been a year since they applied for jobs, and they haven't gotten a job. I'm like, well, if you're applying, why don't you find? You know what I'm saying? Well, not just the field. Some of them worked like at Meta. Some people worked at other institutions, even in sales, like wireless. You know what I mean? Those jobs, you can easily pick up another job like that. But then some jobs, it's very hard. But that doesn't mean you stop working. You find a way to create a lane to get you some income. So then now you have, you know what I'm saying, some experience. So you can potentially go into another industry with the experience you learned on the job and the experience you learned by being self-employed. So now you can be able to make yourself another opportunity make yourself another door open instead of just keep knocking on the same sales door, knocking on the same warehouse door.
One thing I want to add to that too, because I was listening to what you were saying. There was a wise man years ago, Corey, that taught me your network is your net worth. Hey, that also applies when it comes time for looking for a job.
Yes, it does.
Now, I was sharing with the team before we went live. It came down. I had two offers at the same time. One of them was knocking on doors the old-fashioned way, found something. The other one, the one that I ended up getting with, was through my network. I wanted to share that too, because that's also important too. Because I think some people think that if they just get out on LinkedIn or Indeed or name your job site, right, and just push out hundreds and thousands of resumes using AI, et cetera, that's going to get something. But you also got to use that network too, man. And I'm going to say this. I'm glad I have a pretty good network, right? Because I wouldn't have got this job, honestly, straight up and down. Like, was I qualified? Did I have the degrees, the certifications, the experience? Yes, and yes. But had I not had that network, I wouldn't have got it. So that's important too. In addition to what you're saying, like, everything everyone shared, yes. In addition to, man, make sure you got a strong network too. You got to get out there, man.
You got to get out there. Shake some hands and kiss some babies,
And
baby.
kiss some babies.
You know what I'm saying? With the ugly lips, like.
There's been some changes here in the Lopez household. Just recently, you have to take the L whenever it comes. I talked to my husband. I said, hey, the water damage, business just ain't been very good. There's been changes in the insurance industry that has kind of caused a ripple effect down to us, which we're a mom and pop, water damage company. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to compete with brick and mortar, large companies that have been in business for a very, very long time. And so I said, well, what are we going to do? My husband said, oh, I'm glad you asked. Because he always got something up his sleeve. Look, my husband is top notch. He is the smartest person I've probably ever met in my life. He's always got something up his sleeve, but it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. God has definitely blessed him with so many skills. Yes, he has beautiful hair. My husband's very long black hair. Swear he's Native American. He says he's not, but he refuses to take a test to check. Anyways, side combo. But listen, this man is brilliant. He's been like welding as a hobby for a while. Well, 3 months ago, he actually went to school through a program, offered through the city of San Antonio, and he'll be graduating in September with a welding certification. So he's moving into like a trade. Well, because of his skills and his intellect, he already got a welding job. He got a welding job a month ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't he just get a job? You said,
yeah, he did.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hey, Val, let me hold something, man. Let me hold something. I got a job now. I can pay you back.
You are not holding none of ours.
I can't hold nothing down.
Did you just hear the enforcer speak?
I do not control the money. I merely manage it. Okay.
Damn.
He has been working from 8 to 5 and going to school from 6 to 10:30 and stuff. And so, what happens is whenever those things happen, we have to, I'm not going to say he had a sudden job loss, but there was a sudden change in the income stream.
Yeah.
So we had to figure something out, what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so thankfully he already kind of had a plan. And so, as not just a regular wife, but as a great wife, I had to come beside him and support him. And he asked me, how do you feel about me doing this? And I said, well, it depends. Is it going to cut into our time? And it does, obviously, because I don't get to see him very much. I didn't get to see him today, but I won't get to see him tomorrow either. I won't see him for the rest of the week. Okay, but listen, I'm going to still hold it down for as a good wife, because I get off of work at 3. This is what we do, right? I get off of work at 3. I'm at the house by 3:45. As soon as I come inside my door, I'm checking on the kids. I'm shaking babies and kissing hands, and I get straight to cooking. And
don't shake the babies. Don't shake the babies.
They're older babies, so their brains are developed. They're good.
I'm just kidding. Calm down. Like, my youngest is 7, all right. But no, you know what I mean. I make sure everybody gets their bestos and everything. And so I come in. I immediately start cooking and stuff, and I get his dinner prepped. And thankfully, his new job is only 10 minutes from the house. Wow. So I meet him down the street, actually at our church, because he has to pass our church before he goes out onto the highway. So I meet him there in the church. I make sure I have a hot dinner ready for him, because he's already sweaty from work and everything, and going straight from work into over there. I get to see him for 4 or 5 minutes and stuff. And so make sure that he gets taken care of. But, at the end of the day, everything really does take a village. And it's not a pat on, it's not a pat on my back. I just know, what my place is in our home, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. You can deal with whatever feminist crap you want to, but we ain't touching that.
I think it's okay to pat your back. You can pat yourself on the back. It's okay.
It is always going to be, because that's what we do. We work hand in hand. We're partners in this. Ain't no 50-50. We are both putting in 110% for each. So I got to take care of the home, take care of the kids, pay the bills, manage the finances, and make sure everything is good, so that he can come home and have his peace. You know what I mean? So that's also important, making sure that the man's he got clean clothes and that he's ready to be successful for his next day. That includes packing lunches and just continuing to kind of love each other through that process, because it's not going to be a long time. It's just going to be a season of life.
Yeah.
So ladies, I would encourage you, as a lady, if you are happen to be in that position, I do encourage you to come alongside your husband or your partner, your boyfriend, whatever that situation looks like for you, and be the support that they need in order for them to be successful. Because we all want our men to be good providers. We want them to make decent money. I don't ask that you make a lot of money. I just ask that you make some money. You know what I mean? But that's just my heart and my 2 cents coming from a wife. I hope somewhere that touched you. But listen, everything is possible. Turn that hobby into your true hustle. You know what I mean? Go from the hobby to the hustle.
Hey, and I think that's what Corey was kind of alluding to, right? Because he the man of many hustles that he can turn and flip into to revenue generating type hustles, right? And I think that's what you were getting to, right, Corey?
Yeah, man. The thing about it is, it's like we all have untapped revenue sources inside of us. You know what I'm saying? Like Don, Dr. Poole, he has his pool cleaning services, right? But I bet you if he was walking around Home Depot or any pool supply place, somebody asked him like, "Hey man, what's the type of, I got this new pool, how do I clean it?" He can go right off the bat of his head and just tell him like, "Look, you need to get this type of solution, this. Don't get this one." And then he can explain it to him in detail right off the head.
That is correct.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. He is 100% correct.
Exactly. So with that being said,
correct.
And so what that did was Don just created an opportunity to reach everyone in the pool company. That's Core, by the way. That's the name of my business.
Hey.
And what I'm saying is, now Don has the capability to put that video up on YouTube and share with so many people that thousands of pool companies may start going to his video. And guess what? He ended up becoming a partner in the YouTube space, and then get monetized for what? Talking about what he know. Bobby, she does the things that she do. She knows how to make a house feel like a home.
Dude, I've been saying she needs to have some type of classes, teach these women, because man.
Boom. And then she gets up on this YouTube platform, teach people how to do it from A to Z, 1, 2, 3. And guess what? She gets hundreds of thousands of women to follow her, and then boom, she gets part of this YouTube partner program. Boom.
I just got to say one thing real quick, Corey. There's a reason why he's choosing Texas. You just gotta throw that out there.
Yeah.
She knows what's up.
Okay, so well, yeah.
Do you know Corey? Oh man,
but you know what I'm saying?
Texas, I can tell.
Okay, well, yeah. Let me get back on
your horizon, sir.
Okay, I will. You know what I'm saying? And I'll get back onto that. Maybe we can use that for next topic. But then there's you, Geronimo, right? You know what I'm saying? Anybody can talk to you about what? I mean, you can talk to anybody about cybersecurity. You know, the isms and the is-ahs and the is-os. We were talking about that earlier,
right? I like how you did that.
You know what I'm saying? And then if somebody wants to get into cybersecurity, you can talk to them about the Wemo or the Waymo or whatever it was that we were talking about on our channel previously.
Isms and is-os,
yeah. And then you can bust that down on a Canvas spread, YouTube sheet, put that bad boy on a YouTube channel, and then now everybody looking at you like, hey, Gmo knows everything about cybersecurity. Why do I gotta Google when I can go to a link from this brother who can show me in the video? Yeah. And now he got thousands of subscribers. So what I'm saying to this is, for all the people who tune in, there's something inside of you that you have, that you're a great person. You're what we call a SME, subject matter expert. Put it on paper, break it down. Make some digital links with Canva. You can do all this for free and send it out to your people so that when people need something in that particular area, they'll go to you. And guess what you could do? Charge them consulting fee. And guess what? If you are unemployed, they may show some more pity on you and pay you extra. Like, I know you ain't got no money, so let me slide you $100 for that info you just gave me. And you only spend 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And think about it. You do 25 minutes 10 times, and that's 100 times 25. It's that $2,500 you done made by just giving 250 minutes of your time. That's all I'm just.
No, I like that. I like that. And with all the AI tools and stuff there, man, choose your poison, right? You can, as long as you have the knowledge here, you can just use your tool to help facilitate that, right? I'm with that, man. Yeah. I'm actually internalizing that because that's part of my plan. I can't help it, man. Like I'm on guard now. I got to protect my neck. I do have something else that I have learned with my previous experience, previous jobs, where I'm creating some systems and stuff, and I'm having conversations with companies to get some stuff going. Just I'm the type I want to have some additional revenue streams just in case, because man, no, I like that though. That's all good stuff, man. Also too, sometimes what I learned is you might just have to do what you're good at. I was trying to get out of cybersecurity. Didn't want to do cybersecurity anymore. Wanted to go more into acquisitions, but I just don't have that. I got some acquisition experience, but I'm not a SME in it, but I am in cybersecurity, and that's where I got hired. So sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Maybe do what Corey was talking about. The moment I told the team, hey man, I just got laid off. Donald was like, hey man, get you a pressure washer, get out there, start washing some cars. He was giving me all kind of stuff like, man, you better get out there and start hustling.
Hustling.
You know what I'm saying? All good advice. All good advice. Maybe you need to go to school like Val and get certified in something and use a job placement program. There's too many ways to get it, to not get it. You know what I mean? So
like Bobby said, Val was already doing welding.
He did it as a hobby.
You feel what I'm saying? Boom. Now Val gonna probably be teaching people how to do welding in a year or so.
I can see it.
He already is. He said the teacher stepped out several times and he was already showing the class how to use the torches.
You know, the thing about welding, that's one of those jobs that AI is not going to take away, because a lot of the jobs we're talking about right now, there probably won't be as many existent. Like I'm hearing projections that it's going to be the labor unions and the labor workers who will be the ones who will continue to have jobs when AI takes over, right? So
but their bosses will be AI.
Oh yeah, right. Like I gotta follow the skimmer app, right? But even though they make vacuums that clean people's swimming pools, you still gotta add chemicals into that shit. You still gotta clean a filter, you know. And so there are just certain things that a robot just can't do, man.
Can't do.
I got a final thought on that. Because when I used to teach IT classes to young adults that were trying to get into their first IT job, back then I was telling them, hey, find something that's pandemic proof, something that's recession proof. But then when AI came, I started saying it needs to be recession proof, pandemic proof, AI proof. From my previous experience, it needs to be pandemic proof, recession proof, AI proof, and politics proof. Because part of what caused me to be in my position was just the political environment. Look for that. I will say that. Make sure whatever you're trying to do is recession proof, pandemic proof, AI proof, and politics proof, if possible. That's my final thought on that. To your point, Donald, when you said that, I'm like, ooh, yeah, those things you got to think about, man, for real.
Yeah, and just to add to that, you know, lean onto your hustle. Things that you know you naturally good at, like you said, Geronimo, lean into that. You know,
lean into it.
Don't try to be a baker when you're a barber.
Hey, I'm burning the house down.
Don't be a baker when you're a barber.
Good point. Yeah. And like how he was good at welding. He's good at welding. So I mean, he's doing the damn thing.
He does plumbing, electrician stuff, HVAC. He replaced whole things in our whole HVAC unit. We don't even got to call anybody. He's just like, nope, found the panel, burnt fuse, got it.
Oh shit. Well, I'm about to call y'all right now, and I'm not asking for a handout. I'll pay. Just got a job, so I can pay now. Okay, like
still get the homie discount though.
Still get the homie discount.
Hey, what I think that's it though. This is a good conversation, man.
Yeah, man.
I missed y'all.
Yeah.
So look,
it's great to have the team back, man. It's good to see you.
All four. It's the first time all four of us, huh?
All year.
This year.
This year.
Hey, that's
so with that being said, what we want to do is we don't want to say bye. what we want to say is look at our other video that's about to come out right after this one. And with that note, you know what I'm saying? Bobby, what you got to talk to them about? Let them know about what you got going on.
Hey, listen, if you like any of the content that we're talking about and stuff, make sure to follow Technically Speaking. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, comment, tell us where you're listening from, and hey, give us feedback on what it is that we talked about during today's conversation and stuff. And so if you like any of the content, feel free to call. Don't call me, but you know what I mean.
Call me if you need someone to talk to.
On Instagram, on Instagram and Facebook. Bobby.lopez.5. I'm the only cute one, so that's me. Corey, tell them what's up.
Yo, man, you already know what it is. It's your main man with the game plan, Corey Giovanni. I do numerous things, so just hit me up, Corey Giovanni, on all platforms. Send me a message. Let me know what's on your brain, and I can see what I can do to help you make some change. Donald, talk to him.
I clean swimming pools. You can reach me at O_G_millennial and get some quotes and questions answered. You could also go to YouTube and search Millennial Nation Worldwide. Join the page and the nation as we move forward together.
Hey.
All I got to say is like the channel and click subscribe. Other than that, y'all have a happy Monday. Y'all have a good night.
And look at the channel that's coming up right now because it's a good one. Peace.